My name is Jamie Agnew, and I am the president of QP Local 963, which is for the MB Liquor workers here in the province. I've been employed at MB Liquor roughly 32 years now. Actually, I
Hmm.
dealt with a theft last night at the very end of my shift, so it's kind of fitting that we're sitting here today talking about these things.
I was wondering, like, what were your opinions on, like, like this employee who eventually like started having a lot of anxiety of like, coming into work, having to like maybe deal with a potential like theft and like just having to deal with like a potential like nasty situation because as they mentioned, like most of the people who came to steal were people who were not people that they could talk to or they could like reason with. So what were your like initial thoughts about the issue? I would say like let's start with that.
Okay. Uh, well, I mean, it's too bad that this person had decided to leave. We I consider us a safe place to work because of the numbers that we have. The number of people we have working every day.
Hmm.
So if somebody dangerous comes in, you're usually not left alone, and you have a coworker nearby that can either help you or
Hmm.
at least be there as a witness or be there as backup if needed. I guess if the
Hmm.
customer decides to become violent, uh, we are not allowed to touch them. And I guess I'll
Hmm.
start with I'll go back. I guess when I was first hired, we were given training on how to deal with intoxicated customers. So this isn't anything
Hmm.
new to MB Liquor, but what is new is the type of intoxication. So when I
Hmm.
was hired 32 years ago, we dealt with intoxication from alcohol.
Hmm.
So somebody would come in drunk, and how do we diffuse that situation? Are we allowed to sell to them? Are we not allowed to sell to them? The answer to that
Hmm.
is no. If we believe someone is intoxicated by any means, we're not allowed to sell to them. So,
Hmm.
and most of the people back in the day were your happy-go-lucky alcoholics, drunks, whatever we want to call them.
Hmm.
Uh, and they knew they were taking a 50-50 chance when they came in to buy. And if you said, no, sorry, I can't serve you today, come back tomorrow, most of
Hmm.
them would just say, okay, thank you. And they're on their way out the door. Nowadays, we don't deal with as many intoxicated people from alcohol. It's more from drugs and hard drugs like fentanyl, meth,
Hmm.
uh, cocaine, I guess, but mainly meth
Hmm.
and fentanyl is what we're being told. Uh, so yeah, with her not feeling safe, I can get that. I do understand it, but
Hmm.
again, you have coworkers with you
Hmm.
that help you feel safer in this place.
No, for sure. And she did mention that like one of the policies that you guys had, especially when it came to like, like diffusing or like trying to like maybe trespass some of these people, was that, like you usually did it with on pairs so that way like, like they felt protected. However, some of the things that they mentioned was that like because let's say like this depending on the store, I'm assuming, but like in her particular store, like different people were doing different things, right? So let's say like if somebody just appear, like they had to deal with it, and like it was harder for them to just like call somebody else because like maybe they were like like suspecting that they were stealing, but maybe they weren't. So it was one of those things where like she mentioned that she would have liked to see maybe like having like some stores had like some headsets and things like that between employees, so it's easier to call each other. So that's something that she mentioned, and I was wondering, like, I'm assuming you guys are aware of the theft, and I was wondering, like, if the union particularly is, talking about it and talking about it in sense of like, oh, maybe we should like bring this up to the higher ups and bring some of these suggestions to like make it easier for um obviously employees to report theft, but also to like feel safer when having to diffuse the situations.
Yeah, so they started off with giving us, I'm not sure if this employee was part of the training or not, but they gave us a, excuse me, a 1 day course, which is called de-escalation of
Hmm.
the situation. So they give us some tools to use, some things that we've never thought of before. Because at one time we were sort
Hmm.
of encouraged to stop the thief and
Hmm.
have them bring them into our office and close the door with us. Well, that nowadays that's not allowed, and definitely wouldn't be safe for the members.
Hmm.
Uh, the de-escalation has helped some, but we need to go further. And yes, I have gone to the MB Liquor Management on behalf of
Mhm.
963 and on behalf of the members. I've asked for
Mhm.
security guards because we've had them before, but their answer to me is that the security guards cost money, but they can't
Mhm.
really do anything either. Like their hands are tied, like they're not allowed to touch the thief. They're not allowed to really stop them in any way. All they can do is watch them go out the door and take any information as you know, which way did they walk, what kind of car did they get in. So they're
Mhm.
really hesitant now to hire security for that reason because they can't really do anything extra. But I've mentioned to MB Liquor, if we had security, even if they can't do anything, you know, to stop them, it would
Mhm.
give us a feeling of being safe. We've got somebody there watching our back at all times. You know, while I'm stocking the shelf, I'm doing my other
Mhm.
duties here at the store. The security guard, he's watching or she's watching the door, watching our customers for us, uh, and doing everything that doing that part of the job for us as far as to keep us safe.
Mhm.
They don't agree with me though. So
Okay.
I've also brought up a very good topic with them, and they don't seem to be working on it very fastly or quickly, which is
Mhm.
controlled entrances. And if you Google controlled entrances at the Manitoba Liquor Corporation, Manitoba and Gaming, I believe it is, Gaming and Liquor, you'll have an explanation on what a controlled entrance is. So in Manitoba, in all the city stores in Winnipeg and Brampton, and a few of the outlying rural stores in Manitoba, you come through the door, you wait outside, you come through a door, it's locked, like you come through the door, and there's a person in a booth asking you ID. Everybody that enters the store needs to have ID, whether you're 19 or whether you're 79 or 85 years old. You need to have ID. So they ask everybody ID that comes in the door. They then unlock the second door, and you get to go in
Mhm.
and shop uh, and buy your stuff, buy your products, and leave through another secured exit.
Mhm.
And sometimes this causes lineups, but they have ways to control those lineups outside. They'll actually go out and check everybody's ID outside, and then let them in through the store. And again, if you have no ID, you do not get in. What this has done for Manitoba, it has pretty much 100% stopped the robberies. So there's almost zero robberies now in Manitoba at the liquor store. It has stopped theft by 99%, is what I'm being told. Because now you're coming in the store, we have your name, your address, we have all your information, and it's kept on file for 21 days. And the only people that have access to it would be uh, a security team, and they would only use that information if needed. If there was an incident in the store, after
Mhm.
21 days, the information disappears, and nobody has record of it. But again, it stopped all the robberies. It stopped the
Mhm.
theft, and the employees inside are they feel very safe now. So I've talked to the Manitoba Liquor Union out there, and the employees really like it. It actually helped gain more employees in the store because now we need somebody to man the booth to let people into our liquor store.
Mhm.
And also, while you're searching up the Manitoba liquor controlled entrances, there was an incident that started all this movement in Manitoba, and there's videos of it online on Global News and on CBC. So the robbers came in the store, and there was a security guard, but the security guard sort of went the other way. And you'll notice one of the robbers attacks one of the workers, and he
Mhm.
knocked her out cold. It's very brutal to watch this video, and it's going to happen. I have a feeling it's going to happen here in New Brunswick someday. Everything that
Mhm.
happens out west moves to the east at some point. So sooner or
Mhm.
later, we are going to have those violent interactions with our customers, and I don't know if that's what it's going to take for MB Liquor to do more for our safety. And the idea came from my uncle who lives in Manitoba, and he's 74 years old. And he says I get ID'd every time I go to the liquor store. Just to get in the liquor store, my 74-year
Mhm.
uncle has to show his ID. So I looked it up, I Googled it, and I found out what it was all about. And I thought, wow, that would really work here right now. because we have had some incidents where people have gotten hit with crack pipes. The bottles have
Mhm.
come out, the knives come out.
Yeah, no, and I was gonna say, they mentioned that is specifically like the back and forth with the higher ups, like, and something that they said was like, okay, so like, um, like write it down, like make a report, but it's also kind of hard to like make a report when I know like something that she mentioned, which I found really interesting. I just want to double check that it's correct, but she said that like at least in her location, a lot of the cameras were quite old and blurry, but like either way, employees weren't really allowed to take information from the cameras, or like, how in some stores you can like take a picture of the camera footage, put it in the cash office so people know who to look out for, basically. But in MB Liquor, that's not allowed because you guys are a corporation owned by the government. So it's like you can really like share, or like people's identity have to be protected in a way. So she said that that was like a really big like issue too, and the reason, and like some of the things that like also happened was like I guess like management or like people were just kind of like discouraged of like having to do the reports because either way management wasn't doing really much. So it's like she mentioned that like back and forth. So would you say that's also like some of the challenges that you guys have to like deal with as well when it comes to like management like taking you seriously about like, oh, like it's getting really bad?
I believe they're taking us seriously. Uh, I just don't think they wanted to spend the money on
Mm-hmm.
the extras that's needed to help us with this issue. They're basically putting the onus on us, the employee, to deal with the situation as it happens, instead of trying to help us from preventing the situation from happening to begin with. If we
Mm-hmm.
had the controlled entrances, maybe we'd be able to stop, uh, some of the people from coming in that are stealing. It would deter them. But again, that all comes at a cost, and they don't like to spend the money on certain things. Now, I mean, they do want to keep us safe, and they do care about our safety. I just believe there should be more done. We fill out what's called a near miss. So if we have a thief come in, somebody's any incident really at all, and we don't get hurt, there's no injuries. We fill out what's called a near miss, and that is with WorkSafe New Brunswick. So we have a link that we click on the computer, and we can fill this report out. It gets tracked. But you're right, we're not allowed to take any of the information from the cameras, and we're not allowed to take pictures of it. We used to at one time take snapshots and, like you said, put them in a binder. We used to share them from store to store. I work on the north side of Fredericton, so there's
Mm-hmm.
another liquor store here on the north side. So we used to, maybe just send the picture of this person either to them or to all the Fredericton area stores and say, hey, be on the lookout for this person. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you're correct, we are not allowed to do that. We're not even to make, if the police ask us for something, for a video, we're not to do it here at the store level. That all comes from the head office side of things. They can get
Mm-hmm.
a hold of the security team at head office, and they will get the video if needed from them. But at one time, yeah, we used to, if we had a dangerous person, we could take the picture,
Mm-hmm.
send it to the other stores. Hey, but now not allowed. But they do encourage us to fill these near misses,
Okay.
which does help. I guess we can't do anything about the theft, and I'm not sure if the police are doing anything about the theft either, because it's a petty crime
Mm-hmm.
and they have bigger things to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
They're more concerned about the trespass. So once you come in or a person comes in, they steal from us. We've seen them. We tell them, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're not allowed in here no more. You've been verbally trespassed. And then if we keep seeing them come in, that's when we would call our security guy down at head office, and
Okay.
he has access to our videos, to our camera, and then he would go back through the video, find the person, report it to the police, and then they would be charged with trespassing. It's almost like trespassing is taken more seriously than the theft is.
No, for sure. And I was gonna ask you too, like it seems that it's obviously like a lengthy process. And like probably like this guy is in another part of like the province or like well most likely in Fredericton, but like either way, like have you guys maybe like mentioned them that like mention ways or like have come up with ways to like make the process easier so that way like like there can be more security that way, like especially since they don't want to like spend money on the security guards.
We have it other than the two things I've mentioned, which is hiring security guards, and not every store needs it. Like I was when I took my training for the de-escalation, there was people in the course from different stores, and they had no idea what we were talking about because in their certain store they don't have as much of the danger. They don't have this
Hmm.
danger with them. Now we do have some stores in New Brunswick, a couple here in Fredericton. St. John has
Hmm.
a very bad store on Wellington Row, which is in the middle of the
Hmm.
police station, the courthouse, the halfway house, the crack house. They've got everything surrounding their store, and
Hmm.
it's one of the most dangerous places in the province to work. And then we have one in Moncton, or two in Moncton that could be considered on the higher end of the danger level.
Hmm.
So even if we had security for those stores, uh,
Hmm.
it would at least make that staff feel better, my members feel better. But yeah, the money
Hmm.
aspect is holding them back from that, and again, putting the onus on us, the workers.
I was also gonna ask you, so something that like they mentioned in the interview was like maybe like, so especially they were like somebody who was part-time. So obviously when you're part-time, when you work retail, you don't get benefits, or like the benefits that you get are like quite minimal in comparison to what you will get if you were to work full-time. And something that they mentioned was like, they were having, specifically because of how dangerous the store had become, like I said, they were having a lot of anxiety, had anxiety attacks at work, or like when, like, they didn't want to come to work anymore because they were scared they were gonna have a confrontation. So they were saying like they wish that some type of like, mental health resource could be accessible besides like, I believe they mentioned that you guys are given like, like a helpline, like besides that, like they said that they wanted like, or at least like for the company to like consider given that. Have you has like the union thought about like maybe bringing that up to the higher ups as well as like something that could help the employees feel better, like build some morale or like something like that?
So every employee, so I'll break it down into three
Mhm.
classifications. So we have full
Sure.
time, we have permanent part time, and we have casuals. So when you say this person was a part time employee, I guess I'm confused if they were a casual or whether they were actual permanent part
Uh,
time.
I believe they were permanent part-time because they worked there for like probably around 2 years.
Okay, so the full time and the permanent part time, we have what we call our wellness days. So we have four wellness days to use per year, but if you're leaving because you have some anxiety that day, that is definitely why we have these wellness days. But with only four of them, like what are you going to do the next day? What are you going to do the next day and the day after that? So it's tough, I guess. Either maybe this person just wasn't cut out for the retail work that we do. I mean, because we do see
Mm-hmm.
we see some sketchy people, I'll say, come into our store looking to buy our product or steal our product. Uh, that's for those two classifications. Now for casuals, and I guess for all three classifications, we do have a helpline. We have what's called Homewood Help. That is our
Mm-hmm.
employee assistance program, and every employee is offered Homewood Help. Even after you're terminated, it still keeps going for quite some time to give that employee uh, some help and some resources after they've been terminated or after they quit, to help them along the way to help them get better. But if a
Mm-hmm.
person's having the anxiety that they were having, I really don't know what's out there that could help them personally
Mm-hmm.
to not have that anxiety. I think they're going to have that regardless of whether they, if an incident happens on a Monday and you leave that Monday night, say, okay, I got to leave work, boys. I'm too stressed out right now. What are you going to do on Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do on Wednesday? Because it's not going away. This problem that we have in society is not going away anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, for sure. So like have you guys like heard about any other cases similar, or just like in terms like, like employees just not being like happy about how the work environment is not feeling safe?
Well,
And like,
yeah.
mhm,
Oh, it just from my own experience, I shop at a local dollar store, and I'm
mhm,
and I'm there quite a few times a week. And as I'm in the store, I see the theft happening all the time. And actually, my stepdaughter used to work at one of the dollar stores. Uh, she's seen it every day, and they were under the same rules as I am here at the liquor store. No
mhm,
touching. I don't even think they're allowed to ask them if they've done it. They
mhm,
just watch them walk out the door. So it was stressful for her as well. But I guess the best thing to do for her, she's a very young girl, uh,
mhm.
was to not say anything. To keep herself safe is just stand behind the cash register, behind the plexiglass, and hope the person just leaves. But
Mhm.
there's there's just it's happening everywhere, not just here.
No, for sure. And like, like hearing about this testimony from like this person who used to work at the store, um, is like have that inspired the union to like maybe like try to bring it up again to the higher ups and like just like, talk about like, okay, like maybe we need security, or like maybe push into like that idea of the control entrances as well. Something that they mentioned as well was also the security issue, that they were like, oh, like, like you don't like they were like going back and forth with that as well, like you don't really need security because there's no really theft. But then like I think they mentioned that they put security for like a short period of time at some point, and there wasn't any theft because there was security. So like it was just kind of like, the back and forth with the higher up. So like, listen, like being aware of this now, like has that maybe like made you guys think like maybe we should like try to push the higher ups to take it
Oh,
a bit more seriously?
I push them. I push them every day. And whenever I see management come in my store, or if I'm involved in labor management meetings, excuse me,
No, no worries.
I always bring this stuff up. My members are my number one concern,
Mm-hmm.
and I get emails from all around the province from members who are wanting more done. So as soon as I get one of these emails or a request from a member, I am their voice to
Mm-hmm.
the higher ups. So I
Mm-hmm.
use my voice and I tell them or ask them, tell them sometimes nicely, sometimes not so nicely, that we need more done, and it's just not happening. As far as benefits go, I mean, I have vacation time, so it's paid time off. I have sick time, which is paid time off. But again, those are only you get so much like vacation. You're allotted so much per year. It comes in January 1st, and it to December, and then sick time you actually accrue some each and every pay. So and it gets put into a bank. You can accumulate that over the years. And what happens is lately, uh, members will get some sick time in their bank, and then they use it. And then when they really need it, it's not there because they've used it for other things, or maybe it
Mm-hmm.
was an incident in the store. They were stressed out, so they were allowed to use some of their sick leave, which so it didn't cost them, it didn't cost them anything off their paycheck. They still get a full pay, but that
Mm-hmm.
only lasts until you don't have any more. There's always a limit to these like
Mm-hmm.
to vacation. You only get so much allotted to you per year, depending on how long you've worked here. And sick time again is you have that in your bank as long as you're not using it or abusing it.
Mm-hmm.
Casuals, they don't have really any benefits as far as they don't have sick time,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have vacation, they don't have those 4 wellness days that I mentioned that are paid. So any time off for a casual would be unpaid, and that's pretty tough to take when you're trying to pay your rent and make your car payment and buy
Mm-hmm.
some groceries. Then every one of us has the Homewood Help. And other than that, I don't know what other benefits we would have that could help us with the anxiety that person, that member was going
Mm-hmm.
through. But every benefit has a limit. There
Yeah.
is an end. We do not have like a unlimited amount of vacation to use. We don't have unlimited amount of sick time to use. and we don't have unlimited amount of wellness days.
Mm-hmm.
But every member, like if this person was a part-time member, they would have had the wellness days, they would have had the sick days, and they would have had the
Mm-hmm.
vacation time as well. Uh, I some people are looking for some free time off work because my feelings were hurt and I can't be at work today. Well, I'm sorry, I'm old school, as you can tell by my beard. Uh, if your feelings were hurt, well, pick them back up, put them in your pocket, and get back to work type thing. Like this world today is too many feelings are being hurt, and people don't think your feelings are allowed to be hurt. Well, I'm here to say that your feelings are allowed to be hurt, and you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you become a bigger person or a better person for doing so.
Yeah, for sure. And just kind of like to end the interview, is there anything that you would like to say, just like final words, as things that maybe I didn't touch on that you think might be important to add in my article?
Yeah, I guess I want to make sure it's not all about the customers. It's I've seen some good friends of mine and some of these customers that have come in that were good people at one time. The way society is today with the prices of everything, I mean, just the cost of housing to go out and get yourself a decent apartment to have the dignity of living under a roof and being able
Mm-hmm.
to afford your power bill and afford something to eat. It's way out there now. It's way too high for people. Something really needs to be done to bring down the cost of housing for one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't blame it all on the people that are coming in. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't put it all on society and the government either. Something needs to be done with everybody together to make this a better place. It's going to take a whole team, from every walk of life to make this a better place. But if it doesn't matter, it's only going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, for
and the
sure.
drugs, the drugs that people are doing now, I mean, you try it once and you're hooked, right? So, or you get injured. I've seen a lot of workers, whether it's here at the liquor store or at any other place that people work, and they get hurt, or they have a car accident and they get hurt, and then they're on those opioids, which is a downward spiral to street
Mm-hmm.
drugs. So I blame a lot of it on the doctors for giving us these drugs. Thank God
Mm-hmm.
I don't do them. Uh, and you know, I don't blame the person that comes in here for being the way
Mm-hmm.
they are. It's not entirely their fault. Yes, they did make a choice to do the
Mm-hmm.
drug to begin with, but in today's world, people just need something to try and forget about how bad it is out there. So when they
Yeah.
come in, like I dealt with a theft yesterday, and when the girl came back, like I walked outside, I kept a safe distance from her, and when I approached her, I told her, I said, I've got you on camera for stealing the vodka. I just want the bottle back, and you won't be allowed back in our store. I said, regardless, if you give me the bottle back, you still won't be allowed in our store. I'm giving you a verbal trespass act. And she was like, okay. But then the cops just happened to be driving by, and they weren't like in another part of the parking lot. I didn't call them, and I said, all it would take is a phone call from to those guys right over there. I said, and you'd be in trouble. So I left her. She still had the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I went in the store. I started counting. I started doing my duties in the store. And one of my coworkers said, "Hey, she's knocking at the front door." So I went to the door. I opened it up just a small bit so I could talk to her. And she was crying, and it's because she's been ripped off in life, and this person got her, and that person got her, and she says, "I don't usually steal. I just needed, I just needed something," and she didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
money for it. I said, "I understand that." And I said, "I thank you for your apology." And she'd give me the bottle back. She was, "Please just don't call the cops." I said, "Don't worry, I don't call cops, uh, for especially for that reason, unless there's
Mm-hmm.
there's some reason to call them." But I didn't need to call the cops for on her, and she gave me the bottle back, and I thought that as a win because one, I got the bottle back.
Mm-hmm.
She realized she did something wrong, and hopefully she doesn't do it again.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you, you too, Catherine.